What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Elden Ring walkthrough. In this episode, we're going to do a lot of side quest type stuff. So we're going to advance Brother Corhyn side quest, the Dung Eater side quest, Nepheli side quest, and we're going to be doing the nighttime bosses of the Altus Plateau. But before we get started with all that, we actually have some housekeeping to take care of. We're going to warp back to the Windmill Heights. First and foremost, if you remember at the capital, we obtained in the kind of real world roundtable hold area, which again in the capital area is going to be right here in the fortified manor. This area right here, which is basically what the roundtable hold was designed after. So all the way in the back of the capital. And here's where we found this painting. I'll show it to you real quick. You have to have this painting in your inventory. Otherwise, what we're about to get is not going to show up for you. So the painting that we got is the Flightless bird painting. And so we have to find the spot that this was painted from, and it just so happens to be right near here. I'm actually going to advance the time of day. I want it to be morning instead of nighttime. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark on my map where we need to go, and it is right here. This is where our phantom artist is going to be. That's going to give us a thing. And pick this up on the way. Just a gold firefly. And there is our phantom artist right there who painted our wonderful painting. All right, so he leaves behind fire's deadly sin. So what this does is it basically sets yourself on fire, and it makes it so like anything that touches you gets set on fire and takes damage. But meanwhile, you're also taking damage. So, you know, whatever. Not something I'm going to use. We're going to go back to Roundtable Hold because the next thing that we're going to do is get Brother Corhyn's quest started. So as soon as you talk to him, after triggering the Altus Plateau, we could have done this a long time ago, but as soon as you talk to him, he's going to start his side quest. The reason why I did not do this earlier was because when we got to the mountaintop of the giants, aka this area over here, the mountaintop of the giants, this area is going to be like the last spot that we have to go to talk to him. So this way, since we have this area of the map unlocked, and specifically this site of grace, we can now go to basically every single one of his spots that he's going to go along his side quest, except for the very end, which is only triggered by the end game. And by then you have to have all of his other steps taken care of. Otherwise, you're going to miss his side quest. So we're going to take care of all the steps that we can do until that end game step. And so let's go on and talk to him.
I have been waiting for your return. I've decided to leave the Round Table Hold. I'm off in search of a noble scholar known as the Goldmask, to beg his instruction. We may not meet again for some time. If there's any incantations you wish to learn, now's the moment.
Okay, so he gives you like a last, chance to pick up some incantations before he moves. So if you want any of these things, go ahead and pick them up.
May the Golden Order shine through you.
But you'll see if we rest here at the Roundtable Hold, he's going to be gone. So he's moved along. Before we go to his next spot, we actually need to go over here to the Church of Vows, because this is where I'm turning in all of my spell books and whatnot. And there's actually a spell that we have to pick up from one of those spell books. I mentioned it when we were there, when we were at the capital. I picked up a spell book that's going to teach us the spell Law of Regression. We need that spell as part of a puzzle, that's going to help us progress Corhyn's side quest. So we need to give him our prayer books.
Oh, very well. Heresy, all thing. Oh, very well.
I think it's that Golden Order Principia that gets us what we need. So we can study incantations, and we can now pick up the Law of Regression incantation. You need this incantation to progress Brother Corhyn's and Goldmask's side quest. And this side quest is required for an optional ending of the game. Now, this ending that you get from him is not a trophy-related ending, but you know this side quest does result in a possible ending that you can get. You'll notice that this incantation requires 37 intelligence to use. Our build, you see, we have 10. We'll be okay though. You'll see what we do when we get there. We can solve this problem rather easily. So we have the Law of Regression. You're going to need that again to advance his quest line properly. So the next spot that he goes to after leaving Round Table Hold is he's going to be like right up here, kind of near where we got the map fragment for this section of the map. So we're going to warp here to the Altus Highway Junction, and we're going to have to kind of track him down. He's looking after Goldmask. And if you remember, Goldmask is, we found him already. He's on this bridge up here. Yeah, the Noble Goldmask. And so he's kind of searching for Goldmask. And so we're going to speak to him a couple times on his journey. And the reason why I'm doing all of this at once instead of, you know, doing this intermittently when, you know, going back and talk to him when I first got to the Altus Plateau, partly just because I wanted to put all of his steps succinctly in one episode. And also another reason is because I'm going to go ahead and take these enemies out so they don't interrupt me while I'm trying to talk to him. It's because I think if you leave him too long, like in these spots along the highway, it's possible for him to die. And I think it is. So I just want to make sure that, you know, I'm not giving him too much time to just kind of linger around. And I also want to make sure that I cover all of these steps kind of as quickly as possible in one episode anyway. So we're going to talk to him again right here.
Ah, look who we have here. How delightful to meet a familiar face, even after departing the Round Table Hold. I've been doing some learning of my own since then, actually, and will happily pass it along to you. Do you sport with me? From your description, it can be no other than the Goldmask himself. Of course, I knew he would be close by. Bless the Golden Order and its benevolent rays, and to you too, my sincerest thanks.
Okay.
May the Golden...
So I think in order to progress him from here, you have to tell him, basically know where Goldmask is. Again, we've already seen Goldmask and interacted with him right here on the bridge. So if he does not give you that dialogue where he's going to progress to talk to Goldmask, make sure that you've seen Goldmask yourself. He's right here on the map as well. So next, we're going to warp here to the Road of Iniquity side path, which is going to get us on top of that bridge, which we need because now his next location is right next to where Goldmask is, and he's going to be kind of Goldmask's understudy. So what we need to do is we're underneath the bridge that we need to be on top of. There's a Spirit Spring jump right here. So let's get down here, and then we can jump up on top of the bridge. And there he is, right next to Goldmask.
Ah, we meet yet again. Thanks to you, I have become acquainted with the noble Goldmask himself and taken my place by his side, as you can see. Have no fear. I will still teach you incantations as before, though we must do so quietly, such that we not disturb the great master's cogitation.
So as you progress through, he kind of increases his repertoire of incantations that he'll teach you. So just keep that in mind if you're trying to pick up all these incantations. We're going to have to exhaust his dialogue about Goldmask at pretty much every stop that we see him at.
The master is always deep in contemplation, while I frantically attempt to record his wisdom, the movement of his finger. And though I am yet to comprehend even the daintiest morsel of his wisdom, I know that this is my life's calling. The Golden Order has bestowed me, talentless as I am, the great duty of documentarian.
Okay.
May the Golden Order shine through you. Furthest, indeed, I applaud.
Okay, so I think that's it for here. So the next place we want to talk to him is actually within the capital. We're going to warp here to the West Capitol Rampart. And the next spot that he's going to be is like up here on this cliffside by the Coliseum. And so, by the way, this episode I'm recording after the newest patch has released. This is 1.04.1, I believe it is. So they have since fixed the Wondrous Flask Cerulean hidden tier glitch that was making it so that the effect when you use that hidden tier, the negation of FP consumption, was previously lasting shorter than the developers intended. They actually increased the duration of that effect back to its original duration. So that glitch has been fixed. And they also fixed a couple other things. I think there were some glitches where bosses were dying after 2 hits. Like if you would hit them with poison or something right as they were transforming to their second phase, they would immediately die. So they fixed that glitch as well. And then I think a couple other minor things as well. So just wanted to point that out. This cerulean hidden tier glitch that I mentioned before is now fixed.
Please,
Thank God.
Continue your reflections, your rhythms. I must be the one to record them. What matters this issue of Radigan, really? The Erd Tree, heart of the Golden Order, lies before our very eyes. Why must these qualms come to you now? We were on the very cusp. Oh, was that you? Sorry, I hardly noticed. I'm a little shaken since the Master ceased his movements. The Master's reflections had heightened as we neared the Erd Tree, while still a precise calculus. The rhythms grew increasingly wild until he simply ceased. Now the Master is facing quite the puzzle. The Golden Order is founded on the principle that Marika is the one true god. However, the name of Marika's second husband, King Consort Radigan, also appeared. Who exactly was Radigan? The Master is stumped. His finger has remained still ever since Radigan's name was discovered. Curse my mediocre mind. The Master only has me. And here I fail him. Who exactly was Radigan? The Master is stumped. His finger has remained but the Erd Tree. Why must these... We were on the... Who... The Master's
Okay, I think that's the end of his dialogue.
Why must
Okay, so if you remember where I said before when we were over here, the Erd Tree Sanctuary, we found a spot where there was like a little riddle. It says like regression leads the way forward or something like that. So that is actually a puzzle that we have to solve now. And the way that we solve that puzzle is we just picked up the incantation Law of Regression. So we have to cast this incantation to solve the riddle in that exact spot. So in order to do that, we need 37 faith. You see that in this build, I only have 10. But we're going to fix that. So first things first, we got to equip the Law of Regression spell, or memorize it, I should say. So here we go. So memorize it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do some various steps to temporarily increase our intelligence. So if we go to our Wondrous Flask concoction, we can actually swap out the Strength Not Crystal tier with the Intelligence Not Crystal tier. And this will temporarily boost our intelligence in our Flask concoction. It'll boost our intelligence by 10. So we have 10 now, so this will bring it to 20 when we use this. We can also... With Godric's Great Rune equipped, we can use a Great Rune that's going to give us, or a Rune Arc rather, that's going to give us 5 extra intelligence permanently until we die. We can also equip the Twin Sage Glintstone Crown, which is going to give us a +6 in intelligence. And we got this at the Rhea Lucaria Academy. And we can equip Marika's Scar Seal, which will give us a +3 in intelligence. Furthermore, so once we pop that flask, that's going to give us +10. That's going to take us to 34 intelligence, which we need 37 to use this Law of Regression. So lastly, what we're going to do is we're going to equip the Grafted Blade Greatsword, which the Oath of Vengeance will give us a +5 in every stat. So that'll give us an additional +5 in intelligence. So once we pop the flask, that's going to get us to 34. And then once we do this weapon skill, that's going to give us another +5, which will take us to 39, which will put us above 37, which we need to cast the Law of Regression. So once we get to the spot, we're going to pop our flask, and we're going to do this weapon skill. And then that'll give us the required intelligence because we have the mask equipped, we have the Scar Seal equipped, we have the Great Rune active. So lots of steps. Also, you could simply respec. I'll put it, to put it simply, you could also respec. So if you remember, when we talked to the Turtle Pope at the Church of Vows originally, he gave us a bit of a background on some of the major players in this game. Of course, Radigan being one of them, Marika being one of them. So if you remember, Radigan was previously married to Renala, who was in charge of the Raya Lucaria Academy. Renala was the boss that we fought there after the end of that level. And so Radagon actually left Renala to marry Marika and be Marika's second husband, because her first husband was Godfrey, the first Elden Lord. We fought kind of the apparition of Godfrey over here when we were wrapping up the capital level. Yeah, it was here where we fought him. And so just keep that in mind. You know, Radagon left Renala to marry Marika, and they had children together, and there's all sorts of, you know, intertwined drama. So here we have this message: regression alone reveals secrets. So what we're going to do is we're going to equip our seal. Okay. We're going to pop our flask to give us an extra 10 intelligence. Now, as we look at our status, we're at 34. We're going to use this weapon skill. That's going to give us an extra 5. So now we're at 39. So now we can cast the Law of Regression. Watch this statue. It goes from Radagon. Did it cast? Oh, it's because I have the urgent heal spell on. Duh. Okay. Now, Law of Regression is what we want. Law of Regression, yes. So it goes from Radagon to Marika. So notice the statue just changed. And now the little message that we had moved. So look at this. Get a load of this, guys. Radagon is Marika. Chew on that for a second. So wait, they're two separate entities. They're two separate people that married each other. Radagon was a separate person who was once married to Renala, left Renala to marry Marika. They had children together, and what we just read says that they're one and the same. So chew on that for a bit. Kind of interesting, huh? So now we're gonna let's see. We're gonna put our regular equipment back on. I'm gonna revert my flask back. I'm actually gonna switch to the dexterity, not crystal tier, because the Bloodhound's Fang actually scales better with dex than it does with strength. So I want the dex crystal tier instead of the strength crystal tier. I'm gonna put my normal helmet back on here. Take this off. What did I have on before? I think it was this. Yeah, this looks right. And then I'm going to put my Bloodhound's Fang back on. And I'm going to take the Marika's Scar Seal off, and I'm going to replace it back with the Urchery's Favor. So where we got the Marika Scar Seal, if you're wondering, if you haven't been following through the whole walkthrough, where we got the Marika Scar Seal was down here. There is right here on this pillar, there's a warp point that's going to warp you up here on this cliffside. And then right on this cliffside, there's a mini boss. Next to the mini boss, like right around here-ish, is going to be a little cave that has the Marika's Scar Seal that we equipped to give us that extra intelligence. Also, I want to point out, while we were down here on this area, when we were, this is where we did the Law of Regression spell. Over here is where that giant Grand Sax bolt, the giant bolt sticking out of the side is going to be, where we got the Bolt of Grand Sax, which is a legendary armament, which is required for your trophy. If you do not have the Bolt of Grand Sax yet, which is you know, you have to hop over the railing here, then you walk across this giant spear that's coming out of the side of the wall, and that's where you get the Bolt of Grand Sax. If you don't have that yet, get it now, because eventually the state of the capital is going to shift, and that legendary armament will no longer be available. It is missable. So if you don't have it, if you didn't get it when we got it, go get it now. Just a little a tip there. Don't want you to miss out. And if we look over, I bet you we can see it from here. Yeah, see that giant thing sticking out of the wall? That's what I'm talking about. So if you go back to where that statue was, you walk around that walkway just a little bit. There's going to be a wall you can jump over, and you can go up this giant spear. And the Bolt of Grand Sax is going to be on there, and it is a legendary armament that's going to be required for your trophy. So go get it now if you don't have it already. So now we got to go back to Goldmask and report our findings. So unfortunately, got to do a little bit of backtracking here, but we have to share our new revelation that Radagon is Marika, and Marika is Radagon.
Oh, yes, the Master. And after coming,
I think we have to tell it directly to Goldmask. Tell him that Radagon is Marika. Ooh, we get the Golden Order totality gesture.
what on earth did you do to the Master? Well, not that I'm complaining. Master's finger moves again, resuming his cogitation. More than good enough for me. I haven't the words to thank you. So I'd like to pass this on to you instead. A glimpse into the heart of the Golden Order. Documented by yours truly.
I think he's got extra spells for us or something like that.
To think that Radagon was Marika herself. Or at least, such is all I can interpret from the rhythm and calculus of his finger. How would such a thing even have been possible, I wonder? Sadly, I cannot comprehend it myself. Do you have a fuller understanding of the matter? Oh. Well, either way, I can continue my documentation. In truth, it matters very little whether I understand the Master's thoughts or not. I am merely his scribe. It is my sole and unwavering purpose.
Okay, so I think that's...
Study. Indeed,
Okay, that's it for here for now. Okay, so I got to hit them up at their next spot, which is going to be, as I said, kind of at the beginning of the episode, it's going to be, we're going to warp here, and we got to make our way here, and then there's like a jump over here, and then finally we're going to talk to them right on top of this bridge right here. And that's going to be the last spot that we talk to them until the very end of the game. And their last location is not triggered until you trigger the actual end game. So you can't finish this quest until much later in the game. But if you were to choose, here, I'll listen to this.
It is I, Lieutenant. We're almost there. Castle Sol lies just off to the north, where the other medallion is housed. It will grant passage to the land of the Healing.
Okay. So Lieutenant, if you remember, she's the lady that we talked to after we got the first half of the Hallowed Tree Medallion, and we talked to her at the Slumbering Wolf Shack. She said she was going to travel with us. She's saying the other half of that medallion is in Castle Sol, which is up here. We're going to be doing that much later. We won't be getting the Castle Sol for a while, but we will be getting the other half of the Hallowed Tree Medallion there. So as I was saying, if you were to wait until the end of the game, because I mentioned you can't do the last step until the end of the game. So if you were to wait until the end of the game to do the last step, the way that the in-game state works is that Brother Corhyn will be inaccessible. So you have to do this stuff now and then do the end-game stuff at the end game, because if you wait to the end game to start his quest, he's not even going to be there for you to start his quest line. So it'll be too late by that point to start. So just a heads up. Do all this now. And then we'll be able to do that, as I said, that last step at the end of the game. All right. I'm not picking up any loot on my way because this is not my this is not my exploration through this area yet. I want to leave everything intact. So for those of you who there might be some folks who aren't interested in the side quest stuff who just want to come back later and are just going to skip this stuff. I want to make sure that all the items that we pick up are going to be there still for everybody who's going to be watching when we actually explore this area. So you might notice there's an item right there. That item is actually going to be a Somber Smithing Stone 9. So if you want to go ahead and pick that up, be my guest. But I'm going to leave it there just for when we explore this area later. It's going to be there. So it'll be there so we can, show it when we properly explore this area. So here we go.
Nice to see you. I can't believe you've come all this way. I've been gripped by a terrifying thought. The rhythms and calculus of the Master's finger betray a suspicion of the holism of the Golden Order. A conceit, I am afraid, that cannot be overlooked. Oh, but how could this be? I dread to even entertain the possibility, but somehow I cannot cast aside my doubts about the Master. Tell me, have I simply lost my head? Only, if the Master were true to the Golden Order, why would he think to breach this forbidden mount of fire? Oh, Master, put my mind at ease. Dispel these fearsome thoughts. I want to place my trust in you, to be your scribe.
Okay, so that's it.
Do you need something?
So all these steps, this side quest, as I said, is required for an optional ending of the game. This optional ending that we're getting, again, is not required for a trophy, though. So don't worry, you know, if this quest, for whatever reason, is messed up for you somehow, this ending is not required for a trophy or achievement, but it is required for one of the secret endings of the game.
Do you need some?
So we've done all we can do now, and so the next step is going to be at the very end of the game. We're going to be able to interact with Goldmask again. He's going to give us something that allows us to trigger that secret ending that I mentioned. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to progress the Dung Eater side quest. So where we're going to do that is, let's see, this guy, yes, he is relocated. So the guy at the broiler pawn shack, you're going to want to buy several of his, whatever they're called, the items that he sells that boost your defense, the boiled prawns, I think, and buy several of them and talk to him again, and he'll say that he's moving. He's actually going to move over here, so we can talk to him again over here. And then the Dung Eater is actually going to invade us, and we're going to have to beat him as an invader. And that's going to be kind of the next chunk of his side quest. So we did, after we gave Dung Eater the seedbed, or after we showed him the seedbed curse, he gave us the jail key and the subterranean shunning grounds. We found him in his cell and let him go. And then when we went back to Round Table Hold, into his room in Round Table Hold, he had a message on the ground that said that, I'm going to go ahead and warp it to morning. He had a message on the ground that said to find him in the moat, at the moat outside of the castle. So make sure that you've read that message from the Dung Eater and Round Table Hold before you do this. I think that might be a trigger for what's about to happen here. So where we are headed is actually over here. And I like to go around back of this bear here because then he doesn't really bother you. So the Dung Eater side quest is another side quest that involves an optional ending of the game. And much like Goldmask side quest, this also does not impact an achievement or trophy or anything like that, but it is one of the 6 optional endings of the game. Not required for a trophy, but do this side quest if you want access to all the endings. So you see that boiler prawn guy has relocated over here.
What are you looking? Oh, perfect bloody time.
Oh, are you kidding me? Getting trolled by a dragonfly. That's just wonderful. I was going to try to shoot him with a bow, and then he moved. Come on. Enough. Okay. All right, we need to have a conversation. So now he has boiled crab for sale as well, which I think is an upgraded version of the boiled prawn. So we need to do this optional dialogue with him.
I should probably tell you. You heard of the Dung Eater? He's a madman. Has it out for everyone. Curses them. Goes round in his rank armor and all. You see him though. Stay, well, away. I was in the same jail as him once, so I know firsthand. He's a god-forsaken monster. Not just some petty thug like me. He's a killer. Kills people. And curses the souls. Does all sorts of shit to the corpses. To keep them cursed forever. I ain't seen nothing more disgusting in all my years. I never been more scared neither. Rooted to the bloody spot while he did that. To my friend. Yeah. Then I was seeing it here again. Never thought I would.
what he does to those bodies. It was him. No question. That monster. He's lurking round here. Marek is...
All right. So what we need to do now is we need to quit and reload the area once you've exhausted that dialogue. And I think that should trigger the next state of this side quest here. So, our friend...
Serves me right. Fitting bloody end. For a jumped up little shit with big ideas. Help me out.
Our friend has met an untimely
I don't
end.
want to get cursed. Just let me die. I don't want to live like this. Not anymore. So, please.
All right, he's gone. And so we get our third seedbed curse. We need 5 of these for the Dung Eater side quest. There's a total of 6 of them in the game. So if you have, for whatever reason, messed up this side quest, don't worry. We can still get 5 because there's 6 total, and we get a bunch of stuff from him. We get his ball bearing, so we can return it. We can return his ball bearing or bell bearing to the merchant at Round Table Hold, so we can now buy his items from the merchant there. And of course, now we got a giant crab coming after us, but the crab is hitting the Dung Eater too. That's hilarious. And this is a death crab. The smoke that he blows causes the death blight status. So I'm gonna try to run away from the crab, see if he'll leave me alone, or if not. Oops, I need to be two-handing my weapon here. I wanted to do my special, and I wasn't two-handing my weapon, unfortunately. So that smoke, that mist. Oh geez. Oh no, I don't have my healing equipped. Dadgummit. I had my stupid physic flask on. Fortunately, there's a Steak America around here. That was unfortunate. The Dung Eater is easy. It was just mistake after mistake. I wasn't two-handing my weapon. I had the wrong flask equipped. And then the crab spawned. All right, come on, Mr. Dung Eater. Take out the crab first. There we go. Now the crab's gone before the Dung Eater invades, so that'll help. Dung Eater is actually pretty easy to kill. I'm getting trolled by these stupid dragonflies. That's all it takes. If you're not an idiot and don't make like 10 mistakes, it's that easy. Okay, so we got the third seedbed curse from him. Again, if you haven't done his side quest, if you've messed him up, some people may have killed him already, and so if you've messed up his side quest, you're gonna miss out on that seedbed curse. And if you miss out on that seedbed curse, don't worry. As I said, you can still get the required 5, even if you miss out on his, because there's a total of 6. So you can still fulfill the Dung Eater's side quest. As soon as I've de-aggroed, here we go. I'm going to go back to Round Table Hold. Actually, I should have just went straight to, because I don't need to talk to Nepheli. So what we're going to do now is we're going to close out Nepheli's side quest. We need to go to the Godric the Grafted side of Grace. So a little bit about this side quest. In order to complete this side quest, you have to have completed thus far Kenneth Hake's fort, his side quest. You first find him on top of this thing, and you got to basically liberate his fort, and then it'll tell you that he's searching for an heir or someone to rule alongside. Nepheli, in order to progress his quest line, you also need to be progressing Nepheli's quest line in order to do that. You need to not give her the potion that Celavis gives you. You need to give that potion instead to Gideon in the Round Table Hold. And then for Nepheli, you need to warp back to here, the Chapel of Anticipation. The way that you warp to the Chapel of Anticipation is right here at the 4 belfries. This will take you to the Chapel of Anticipation where you'll find the Stormhawk. The Stormhawk you have to find here. You have to give that to Nepheli. Once you give that to Nepheli, that progresses her quest line. So once you rest here, after killing Morgott at the capital, that's the next triggers. You have to also kill Morgott at the capital. You rest at this site of grace. And they should, well, it does not appear that they have moved yet. So I might have to check in with them one more time. Yes, okay, now they've moved. I don't know why I had to rest at it twice. Now they've moved. So Nepheli, Kenneth Haight, and Gostock should all be in here now. And this is the end of their side quest.
Ah, nice to see you after so long. Safe and sound, I take it, yes? Good. Ah, quite. I have indeed selected a new ruler. Lady Nepheli is strong and just, worthy of the burden of Limgrave's lineage. Such is the sincere opinion of I, Kenneth Haight, no less. For the time being, I share command of the castle with my lady, but I plan on returning to my fort afterwards, at which time I can fulfill my old promise by raising you to the glory of knighthood. I hope it is just as wonderful as you imagine. For the time being, I share, at which time I hope it is.
All right, so let's talk to her.
It's been some time. I must thank you for your aid. I told Father I would be with him no longer. I remembered the vow I took when I first became a warrior, so many moons ago. This land is much like the one from which I hail. I will call upon the storm to drive away the foulness that has settled on the winds. Again, I am Nepheli Loux, warrior. Some call me by the title of Lady, but I remain the same woman underneath, though I have now abandoned my former guidance. I cannot express how much you've helped me.
Okay, so for that, we get an ancient dragon smithing stone at the end of her quest. That is what we need to level up a regular, normal weapon to level 25. So if you do not have one of these, the max you're going to be able to level up your weapon is to plus 24. If you have a plus 24 weapon and you use this will get it to plus 25, which is the maximum.
Become elder, I would gladly.
Unfortunately, it does not work on a somber weapon. On a special weapon that requires a somber stones, there's a different type of somber stone that will level up your plus 9 to plus 10. We do not have one of those yet. So let's talk to our friend Gostock.
You can see freedom, but besides, Lady Nepheli still fair of heart and countenance.
So he still remains as a merchant.
So I can loot all the corpses I like. I'll let you take a look at the goods if you fancy.
And if you do not kill him, if you follow through his quest to the end, which happens to coincide with Nepheli's and Kenneth Haight's, at the end of his quest, he will sell another ancient dragon smithing stone for 20,000 runes. You can pick it up. So now we have 2 of these. Reinforces your armaments to plus 25. We have 2 of these. These are not the only 2 in the game, of course, but you're basically your reward for doing this entire quest and keeping everything intact as 2 of these, one of which you get for free, one of which you have to purchase, because he does not sell this until you reach this point in his quest. The other remaining wares in his shop are exactly the same, but if you kill him and get his bell bearing, you will never have access to this ancient dragon smithing stone. And if you never do this quest all the way through, you're never going to get access to this one to purchase. So just keep that in mind. That is the end of this side quest. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take on the nighttime bosses of the Altus Plateau, of which there are 3 that we're going to do right now. The first one, we're going to go up here. There's a death bird. So we're going to warp right here to the outer wall battleground. We're going to warp it to nighttime, and we're going to start taking down the nighttime bosses of the Altus Plateau. So quite a jam-packed episode. We didn't wrap up, but we very heavily advanced as far as you can possibly advance until the end game. Corhyn and Goldmask's quest. We took the next step in the Dung Eater's quest. We concluded Nepheli, Kenneth Haight's, and Gostock's quest. and we are going to take on the nighttime bosses in the Altus Plateau, which will basically, as far as we're concerned, be the end of the Altus Plateau, because we've pretty much done everything we could do in this area. We've done pretty much all the dungeons. We've done the main legacy dungeon. We've done more or less everything. And what's going to come next is, I believe what we're going to do is the Volcano Manor. So we're going to do the Volcano Manor side quest. Oops, I think I took a wrong turn. We're going to do the Volcano Manor side quest first, and then we're going to be doing the dungeon as well. Both the side quest and the dungeon will lead you to the final boss of the quest line, or of the Volcano Manor, I should say. You don't have to do both, but I will do both just to cover the whole thing, because there's some good stuff you get from doing the manor, like proper, the actual dungeon itself. And then there's some rewards you get for doing the side quest as well. Now, I will say, if you do the manor and kill the last boss before doing the side quest, you're actually going to get it locked out of the side quest, because as soon as you kill that final boss, regardless if you do it by way of the side quest or by way of the dungeon, you're going to get locked out of that side quest. So I recommend doing the side quest first and then doing the dungeon. And that's exactly, of course, what we're going to do. I'm too lazy to take out those roly-poly guys. I'm just going to kind of deal with them. You see, this Death Bird is capable of casting Death Blight. I mean, the risk isn't super huge. I wouldn't worry too much about it. I'm going to fight him on horseback all the way. And I just got knocked off my horse. Yikes. Did he take all of my horse's HP? No. Just as a stun. All right, I'm going to get back on. And heal up. Okay, we're good. Where's my Death Bird? There he is. All right. So for killing him, we are going to get a shield. The Twin Bird Kite Shield. And I believe this shield has 100% physical damage reduction, has pretty solid, magic and such reduction. It also has a special ability, which I believe triggers when you get to low HP. It increases your defense and increases your attack power. So, kind of cool. But I will not be using it. So the next night boss we're going to fight is going to be over here on the Altus Highway Junction, I think it's called. And this is going to be a night cavalry rider guy. Right here at this intersection. You see him right in front of us. The same routine as the other ones we fought for these. So as soon as I get him down to like one hit left on his horse, I'm going to hop off my horse and then attack him on foot to take his horse out so I can do a critical on the ground. There we go. Going to critical him. As he's getting up, I'm going to do a charged heavy and then follow that right up with a special. Well, he kind of has different plans. There we go. So not too bad. And there's actually, so killing him, we get the Ash of War's Sacred Order. I believe this enchants your own weapon with holy damage and also will enchant those around you with holy. I think there's also an Ash of War around here that I didn't get because it's an invisible scarab that makes a very subtle, like it's not one that like has those glowing footprints, but it makes a very subtle cloud of dust. And it's around here on this path, and I'm not sure if I got it before. I want to say it's like, I think this is probably too far back, but if you look really closely, you'll see a tiny little cloud of dust pop up, and that's where he is. He doesn't like move around like the other ones do, but it's very hard to see. And I'm looking out for him. I'm gonna have to kill these guys first. And take these guys out. I think that's it up there. Yeah, I see it up there. See that little cloud of dust right there? That's the scarab. And it doesn't move around, but you have to notice that and then hit him right there. And that takes him out. So that gives you the Earthshaker, Ash of War. And then that's all I wanted to do here. So what we're going to do now is there's another Knight Cavalry guy. Whatever. And I need to be able to warp to get to him. There we go. So he's actually over here. This is what we unlocked, the Forbidden Lands. So I still consider this the Altus Plateau because this is still prior to the lift. So this is what I would call pre-Mountaintop of the Giants. So anything on this side of the lift over here is going to be Mountaintop of the Giants. Anything on this side of the lift, I'm still going to consider the Altus Plateau. So there is one more Knight Cavalry here that we're going to take out. So I'll do it in this episode. Anything over here, I'm going to cover in the next one when we do the night bosses for Mountaintop of the Giants. And what I want to point out is we met this guy Shabiri. You can actually kill him if you want his armor, or if you remember the last episode when we talked about the Flame of Frenzy ending. If you submit yourself to the 3 fingers and take on the Flame of Frenzy, then I think he disappears and you can get his armor at that point without killing him. But he's the one who suggested, hey, check out the 3 fingers beneath the capital, blah, blah, blah. You can become the Lord of Chaos, yada, yada, yada. He said that. He kind of gave you a hint about it. So you can either kill him for his armor if you want it, or if you submit to the Lord of Frenzy or whatever, you can get his armor that way too. Just wanted to point that out. So now we're going to fight the next Knight's Cavalry. And that'll be it for this episode. Make sure I don't fall off the edge. It's hard to see, especially it's already foggy, and then it's nighttime on top of that. So there he is. Almost got his horse. I got hip checked. One more hit to his horse should do it. I'm gonna make sure that my HP is in good shape though. I missed. I tried to do or whatever. Ah! Oh my gosh. Shouldn't be this difficult. There we go. Oh no, do my critical. Do my critical. There we go. Charged R2 when he gets up. Took a shot there, but that's just fine. And he's going to do his remount attack, but that's fine. One more hit should get him. Oh, he had the follow-up attack. There we go. Got him. Okay. Not too shabby. So for that, we get the Ash of War Phantom Slash. And I'll warp back here. Change it to morning time and level up. And I'll put this into Dex. Level 100. Wow. Pretty crazy. We've made it to 100. We'll get to at least 150 in this playthrough, I'll say. Let's see, by the end of the game. All right, guys, so that's going to be it for now. We covered a lot of ground in this episode, mainly side quest stuff, but also some combat with these nighttime bosses that we just took out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. And I think, as I said, we'll pick up next time in the Volcano Manor. So stay tuned. See you then. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.